Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Red Dawn tunnels. Okay, for those of you new to the channel, I've been doing a video series looking at the 1980s movie Red Dawn, and I've been analyzing it and trying to apply realistic militia tactics that would work in that scenario. And for those of you not familiar with the movie, Red Dawn is an 80s movie where the United States is invaded by the Soviets and the Cubans. They're occupying half the country, and we have people behind enemy lines that are forming militias in order to fight the communists. Okay, so in the prior videos, and I'm going to include a playlist in the comment section before of all the videos I've done to date. In the prior videos, I have mentioned the use of tunnels in urban areas and cities. And even in rural areas, because basically if we get caught inside a safe house, like let's say a house like this, and the house is surrounded or the building is surrounded, the Soviets, they outgun us, they outnumber us, and basically they're just going to isolate us and basically just blow up the whole building or burn the whole thing down with us in it. Okay, so we need a way to get out of this building, but we can't just get out and cross through open areas, because they're going to see us and they're going to obviously start shooting us. Okay, so we need a way to exit the buildings that we're staying in, right, in the safe houses. We need to be able to exit without being seen, and and one of the ways is with using tunnels. Now, in cities and in some urban areas, you may have pre-existing subways, steam lines, sewage systems that you can make use of. But for most of the country, you're not going to have any sophisticated tunnels, so we're going to have to create tunnels. Now, during the Vietnam War, the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong had famously dug out entire networks of tunnels to facilitate the movement of supplies, movement of troops, hiding of troops. They would attack out of these tunnels and retreat back into these tunnels. Okay, so there's some good history there. If you guys want to do a little bit more research on the North Vietnamese, use of tunnels during the Vietnam War. So we're gonna kind of borrow, we're gonna borrow from that page of history. Now, the big difference here is that the North Vietnamese had the benefit of a huge volume of labor, okay, whether it was voluntary or involuntary, whether it was forced labor, whatever it was. The North Vietnamese were able to bring a lot of people, a lot of civilians into the area to do the digging, okay, to help with the digging. So we don't have that benefit, okay, so we can't just bring in thousands of people to help, with shovels to start digging tunnels for us. So we're probably a small militia group. We're probably somewhere between 5 to 10 or 12 people, and we may have the support of another 10 or so people, 10 or so people that are providing us with food and other supplies, and land and places to hide, and providing security watch for us and bringing us information. But we're not a huge network at this point. Okay, so so with that in mind, what I want to do is I want to come up with a plan that I think makes some sense. Okay, so as far as creating a tunnel system, the first thing I would want to do is I'd want to pick farmland. Okay, I don't want to use raw land, land that has never been worked, because you're going to find a lot of big rocks on the ground, and you're going to find a lot of roots. Roots of really, the tree roots are really hard to work with. Okay, so it would make our life a lot easier if we can find some farmland to work with. That where basically the big rocks are already out of the ground, the soil is already somewhat soft because it's being worked every year. That is a good place to start. Okay, now that being said, obviously this is going to be in an area that is a good distance from the Soviets, so that we cannot be observed during this digging operation. Okay, now as far as the digging, okay, we're too small of a team to basically be digging with shovels and picks, so we're going to make use of farm equipment, of ideally a mini excavator. Okay, but even tractors can be very helpful. Tractors do have trenching equipment that will attach to the back. So we want to use, equipment to make our trenches, okay? So we're going to find some farmland that's already been worked. We're going to do this during the spring because during the spring everybody's farming, okay? So the Soviets are not going to be surprised to see, the dirt being moved around, okay? So we're not just going to just trench the area that, where we're going to be trenching. What we're going to do is, if this is the land here, we're gonna plow the entire land as if we are basically plowing for the spring planting. Okay, so we're gonna turn the whole dirt over. Okay, so everything looks disturbed. Okay, so it looks like we're basically farming. And once all the dirt's been turned over, then we're gonna start our trenching process. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna trench it. We're not gonna try and actually tunnel underneath it. We're just going to open up a trench, okay? And the cool thing about that is that when we open up the trench, like as you can see here, okay, so this is the house over here. We're farming all around the house, as is typical with farms. And then after we move all the soil, we're going to make our trench. Right? We're just going to start digging it out. And what I want to do is I don't want to make just a single line. I want to make kind of like a network of trenches. So I want to make it like a finger, like you see how you got like little finger tunnels going off in different directions. So for example, because it may be that if the Soviets ever box us in, we might see that they've got positions over here, which obviously means we're not going to go in that direction. We'll go in some other direction. Okay, so we want more than one option as far as which direction we're going to be evacuating to, okay? And at the same time, we want our tunnels to terminate in areas that have cover. So if you notice, I have these little green triangles here. These represent trees, okay? So these are all trees. So I've got my trenches terminating in an area that has trees or some type of cover or something, so that when we come up out of the ground, we're not out in the middle of nowhere, where we can easily be seen, okay? These trenches are probably going to be about 3 feet wide, and the reason is because plywood is usually 8 foot long by 4 foot wide. So what we're going to do is after we make this trench, we're going to cover the trenches with the plywood. Okay, so the plywood being 4 feet wide, our trench being 3 feet wide, enough room for us to move through. We're going to cover it with plywood, all along the way, right? So we put planks of plywood all along the way, and then we're going to put some light dirt on top of it, okay? And then seed it, let the grass, grow in. Now, the one thing is we got to do this in such a way that we can, because we want to be careful not to drive over the trenches with farming equipment, later on, okay? So we need to. We need to organize this in such a way, and obviously this is a small scale over here, but we need to organize this in such a way that we don't accidentally run over our own trenches with our farming equipment, as we go through normal farming operations as well, okay? So we got the trenches, we've got them covered. We're gonna put some light dirt over them, seed it so that the grass grows back over it, so it's not so obvious that what we've done here. Now, there's a good chance that, even after it grows in, if the Soviets are out walking this area, they might see something's a little bit weird, but the idea is that this is a somewhat isolated area. We're not expecting Soviets to be randomly walking, through this farm, okay? Which can be, would probably be several hundred acres wide, okay? This would be a large piece of property, okay? So we got our multi tunnels, right? So to give us options to get out. Now, one of the things we want to be aware of is water drainage, okay? Because once you make this trench, as it starts raining, right? These trenches are going to want to fill up with water. So if we can pick a property that's like, a property that has at least a hill, and what we would do is we would do this trenching operation towards the top of the hill. So that the water will naturally run, even inside the trenches will normally run out and away. Because if you do a trenching operation like this on just, flat land, what's going to happen is that this is going to fill up with water and it's just going to sit there. and it's it's going to be really hard to get through this. I mean once if the trenches fill up with water, and they get all muddy, it's like walking through quicksand almost. So that's going to become a mess. So that's an important consideration: water drainage. We want to situate this in such a way that it has natural water drainage, and the only way we're going to do that is if we pick a safe house that's at the top of a hill where we have a natural water runoff. Okay, and then lastly, we need a plan for escape and hide. Okay, so once we get out, okay, we've got our trenches. They're going to dump us off into near the trees over here to a forested area. Okay, well, what do we do from then? I mean, what do we do? Do we have maybe we have a couple of motorcycles hidden in the trees over here that can get us out of here, or maybe there's horses. There's a ranch next to us that has horses or something, or maybe this property has horses. So that might be part of the plan. But whatever. We have to decide. Once we get through the trenches, what's next? How do we get out of there? Where are we going to go? Now, part of the plan might be that we might just once we get out, we might just double back and attack the Soviets from behind. If it's a small if it's a small group, we might be able to do that. But that said, they're gonna send more. When this group doesn't report back. So we still need a plan to get out of here. Okay. So a couple of things for you guys to think about as far as Red Dawn tunneling tactics. If you guys have any other ideas, please post them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it. It helps bring more people into the channel. I'll talk to you guys soon.